We're just outside the Eurostar terminal where if you have the right papers, you can go to Paris in just over 2 hours, Brussels, wherever you want. Similarly, people can come back the other way, show your passport, buy the ticket, and that's it. Except, obviously, not everyone has the right papers deemed by the government to be desired in this country. So we have a massive situation of people that want to come to the UK and can't. So just over 100 miles away in Calais, there's hundreds of migrants at any time trying to get into the UK, and people are desperate to come to the UK, and they're going to keep trying. But we had, like last year, someone tried to get on the Eurostar. They went through the tunnel and died. People often and trying to get under lorries and stuff to come to the UK on the ferry. Again, there's lots of deaths, people can get killed. There's massive amounts of repression against them. So people are beaten and gassed every day, you know, all the time. People are taken into detention, taken out again. And there's a lot of resistance to the increasing migration controls that are going on. So there's resistance in Calais. There was a no border camp last year. There's a group called Calais Migrant Solidarity. They're working on the ground all the time, trying to help people. There's resistance going on in detention centres in the UK. And obviously we here today are part of that resistance movement as well. And we should kind of take strength in the fact that this is happening and that we are fighting against borders and taking a stand and saying that we should be free to move and free to settle wherever we want. Thank you.
My name is Majid. I'm from Iran. I'm 25 years old.
We saw him in Calais 2 months ago, and fortunately he managed to escape to come here. Anyway, by lorry. Yeah. Your trip, I mean, how did you get here from the France to here?
من حدود 6 ماه در کاله بودم. 5 ماه 6 ماه در کاله بودم. تو کاله به علت مشکلاتی که پلیس برامون فراهم کرده بود.
I was in Calais for 6 months, and then because of the recent attack by the police in the jungles and so we have to leave that Calais to another towns, and then so we managed at the end with another 3 person so to come by lorry and to find a lorry, but so it wasn't just simple like that. So they were nearly 8 hours on the way.
خطرات بین را که اگر راننده اکسلشو بالا میکرد جونمو از دست میدادم.
There was a lot of dangers that I have to sleep on the tires, so and they hold some bars, and there was usually risk. There is some risk if the driver decided to axle to put up the tires, so we could be crash. So that was only one of the risks. Yeah, and the other 3 friends, so they went on the box on the top in the refrigerators. Yeah, and then if even the drivers decided to turn on, so in the refrigerator they could be freezed. So that was the simple dangerous situation.
اینجا تشکر میکنم از بچهای نوبرده که تو کاله خیلی کمک ما کردن، خیلی برامون زحمت کشیدن.
Just I would like to thank everybody who are supporting us and those people who came to the camp in Calais, and they supported us. Yeah, and so I hope one day I can join you, and so to join this movement, brilliant movement. That's it. Yeah, thank you very much.
So in 2008, the Home Office introduced a new points-based system for immigration that awards points to people outside of Europe for the supposed desirability, which means education, work experience, and especially means money. And this is affecting education by making it more difficult for students and staff from outside of Europe to obtain visas and subjects them to discriminatory treatment. And what this means is that anyone who applies for a student visa has to show they've got £17,000 in the bank for 28 days. And people from certain countries have to register with the police. And the most insidious aspect of this is that colleges and universities wanting to recruit students or employ staff from outside of Europe have to register as licensed sponsors, which means they have to monitor the attendance of students. and report them to the border agency if they miss a certain number of classes and that sort of thing. And this basically turns universities and colleges into agents of the state. So what's happened so far is that the Students' Union Goldsmiths has passed a motion calling on staff not to comply with the regulations, and then the Goldsmiths branch of UCU, University College Union, then passed a motion which was adopted at last year's Congress, which is basically for non-compliance with the immigration rules. And as well, several departments have passed statements saying that they're not going to implement the rules. And I'd say we really need to spread this campaign to other colleges and other universities, other workplaces, because what we need to do is show that there's broad public opposition to these rules, no matter how many scare stories or how many moral panics you see in the press. And I think what's dangerous is right now all three political parties are taking a very hard line and anti-immigration position, and they're all trying to outdo each other to show how tough they are being to crack down on immigration. And I'd say we need to shift the terms of debate, because all we hear about in the media right now, particularly in the aftermath of the Christmas Day bomber, is about how the student visa system is the weak link, how foreigners are out there to scam the system and steal people's jobs, and and that people don't contribute anything to society. And this is really dangerous, because we never hear other positions, we never hear other voices, we never hear about how this is affecting individuals. And so I just wanted to end by saying that we need an end to a politics of scapegoating or fear or fight for the bottom and moral panics. And we'd welcome your involvement and support. Thank you.
The government and the media, who often sound like the BNP themselves, often want to make out that people are racist, and that people in general in this country don't want asylum seekers to be here. But, the reality speaks for itself, that when faced with the reality, for example, a family about to be deported in their community, people do rally around, school children do petitions, local papers write articles. And this was one of the reasons, or the main reason, that David Blunkett tried to get children seeking asylum to be educated separately from other children in this country, because he said it's too difficult to deport families, because once they're integrated in the community fights for them. So that's just to show, that shows how strong the movement is.
Stop deportation! No more than donations! Stop deportation! visited St. Pancras today. This is actually a really weird place. There's a border, there's an international border right in the center of London. And this is completely arbitrary. And for us, this is a symbol how arbitrary migration control has become nowadays. And that's why we're here to demand freedom of movement, freedom and self-determination. We don't want to be controlled, we don't want to be filmed all the time. Apparently there are more than 500,000 cameras in London. 8,000 of that are running by local authorities, the rest are private cameras. Every Londoner, every day, passes average 300 cameras on the way to work, on the way to home, on the way to see friends. This is a massive amount of data, of knowledge about people.
And we are under the illusion that this is a free country. It's masquerading as a free country. This is a livestock management program. And you are not a number, you're a human being. You're born free, you will live free. You do not need a passport, you do not need identification. You do not need to answer questions as to where you're going on a day-to-day basis. All these things are lies. The government should be a government of the people, by the people, for the people. We are not slaves in an economy. We do not exist to provide manpower for an economy which just so happens to brutalize lots of people around the world. Every single government in this world is a liar and a murderer. And I'm just so proud to be just one man amongst many who will stand up for freedom in the ongoing dialogue between tyranny and human rights. So thank you very much for coming. Stay strong, keep your chins up, and we will win this!
I'd like to say thank you to No Borders for getting people together today. It's amazing how few people it takes to take over the streets. And that should really encourage us. We marched in the streets, we stopped the traffic, and we got the message across against deportations and against the holding of women and children and men in camps, basically in Britain, in prisons. They haven't been charged, there are no trials. That day just held indefinite. This is indefinite detention going on in Britain, and people are then deported. £81 million is what the British Labour government has spent in the last 4 years on deporting people. That's what they're prepared to pay to cover up for the ongoing murderous British foreign policy of wars, of torture, of detentions, of people abroad, taking their people, taking their resources, so that some people in this country can lead extremely good lives at the expense of others. Okay, hi, I'm Katerina. I'm from Latin American Workers Association, and in the past year we've had loads of immigration raids on people's workplaces, and it's when people start organising, it's when people stand up to their bosses, it's when a raid happens. These controls, these migration controls are a way of controlling all of us. They're a way of oppressing us, they're a way of oppressing the poorest people in this society, so we don't complain, so we don't say anything, so we just go to work, we work extra hours without pay, and if we complain we get deported. That's what happens. And one more thing, how can a human being be illegal when those troops that invaded Iraq are not illegal? When those companies, those British corporations that are in Latin America, that are exploiting Latin America, they're plundering it, they're polluting the environment, and they're taking all of the riches out of it, so people are so poor they have to come here, and they're not illegal.
Yeah. I just thought if anyone hadn't seen it already, it was probably worth pointing out because it was very relevant for this march. The front of The Guardian today, CCTV in the sky, that the British police plan to use the drones that are being used in Afghanistan to surveil Britain and the waters off Britain. If that doesn't draw the kind of link between this paranoia of an external threat as well as the internal population, like, I think that's what this march is about today.
Stop watching television, mainstream media. Stop reading mainstream newspapers. The government only controls you because you consent. You say yes. It's time to start saying no.